This We the People News. Okay, not attorney, educational purposes only, not giving legal advice. If I say anything, okay? Do your own research. We're all hearsay. Now, it's kind of funny when we talk about the oath of office. This man is separate from the last video I did, Rob Ryder, and he's separate from me, but we're all kind of within the same realm of our education when we looked at things, okay? Now, that being said, he is way above me on intelligence of educations of his research. Okay, I'm arm length from him, and so let's proceed forward. If this happens to shut off because, well, my storage space is limited, so it may just cut off completely altogether. Let's go.
Go back here. It's Article 4, Section 2. Hold on. Boop. Article 4, Section 2. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all the privileges and immunities of the citizens in the several states. Okay? Any person charged in any state with treason, felony, or other crime who shall flee from justice and be found in another state shall, on demand of the executive authority of the state from which he fled, be delivered up to be removed to the state having jurisdiction of the crime. Okay? So this is where we're enforcing Article 4, Section 2, and we are moving to impeach the bad actors, all right? Because they were engaged in treason or seditious behavior or a gross misdemeanor or a high misdemeanor, right? So, vacate for lack of jurisdiction. This is after they've already ruled on the case. You can vacate for lack of jurisdiction, and you're going to give them 21 days to respond. All right, so you're going to articulate the fact that they don't have the Title V 3331 oath of office, the Title V 3332 affidavit that's supposed to be aligned with it. You've been down to the Secretary of State. They signed with their first name, middle initial, last name. So therefore, they absconded from fulfilling their obligation in their full unlimited legal capacity under the unlimited or limitless personal, criminal, civil, and professional liability that they would carry because they didn't fulfill their oath of office to the letter of the law, right? And then...
And I'm going to stop right there. So I did actually see an oath of office of a judge using a totally different name on his oath of office. Well, that's committing perjury as well. So that's a crime. All right, we're not allowed to commit perjury.
Of course, you've got the state constitutional oaths and the Title 28 oaths of office, and of course the fact that they're administering a bankruptcy, violating the separation of powers clause, and they subverted from your constitution.
Now, if you go to YouTube, Kennedy, he uses a security clause a lot in his documents. Well, because they're violating it.
Guaranteed and protected rights as articulated in the First Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, the Seventh Amendment, the Eighth Amendment, the Ninth Amendment, and the 10th Amendment, okay? So let's go through those. The First Amendment is your freedom of religion. Maybe your freedom in religion is that you don't want to be bothered by anybody. That's the right to freedom of religion. You are allowed to believe and do whatever you want so long as it doesn't cause harm, damage, loss to another, and you honor your word. Your word is your bond. If you made a contract, fulfill your obligation and fulfill that contract. Otherwise, somebody might make a claim, not a complaint, a claim, and come after you for damages or for breaching your performance, right?
Stop right there, right? What have we always been taught? Well, we got to be, we got to follow, geez, what did you say? We're not filing claims. We're filing complaints. Well, no, we don't want to file complaints. We want to file claims. Okay? You caused me harm, loss, and damages. I need a remedy.
So, Article 3. Well, many people don't know what Article 3 is, or the Third Amendment, excuse me. And the Third Amendment is there is no quartering of soldiers in time of war or in time of peace, ladies and gentlemen. That means when a gun-toting moron pulls you over on the side of the road with his blueberries and cherries, one, he violated his oath of office. Okay, he engaged in insurrection, sedition, and treason by accosting you against your will, which is disturbing the peace, which is an arrestable offense without a warrant. Okay, and he declared an emergency when there was no emergency. All right, they start out by asking you a bunch of questions and demanding that you owe them some type of fealty and obligation to provide them information, which violates the Fourth Amendment. Okay, because absent a warrant, you're not legally or lawfully obliged or obligated to give anybody anything. All right, so they've committed about 15 felonies in the first 5 seconds of turning on the lights and pulling you over. Absent a victim, absent a crime, no affidavit in support, no statement of fact in support from a real party of interest claiming harm, damage, loss, or a hardship. They have violated your unalienable right to egress, regress, and ingress as you see fit with no injured party. As a privateer, piracy on the land, Title 18, 1661. All right, to unjustly enrich their principal, to benefit in retirement by unjustly enriching their principal by subjecting you to a foreign jurisdiction and what they purport to be law, which is statutes, codes, city ordinances, rules, and regulations. When a gun-toting moron on the side of the road does that to you, what he's actually operating as is a motor vehicle code enforcement operator on behalf of the DMV who's gone into private cooperative agreement with the AAMVA, which is a non-profit private organization that pays lobbyists to create legislation that bolsters their juxtaposition under the Safe Highway Care Acts, okay, that you're not subject to. All right? There's a difference between commerce and private. And so in the private, they violated the...
Which, again, Hell versus Hinkle.
Third Amendment, because now you're quartering on your land a soldier in time of war or peace, and he's on your land with the intent to rape, rob, pillage, loot, plunder, extort, and take from you under the guise that he has the statutory authority to, which is a violation of his oath because he's using a foreign jurisdiction with foreign statute, code, city ordinances, rules, and regulations to extort you. All right? So that...
Now, sit and think about that too. They're putting you in administrative, and you ask about the Constitution. Well, you cannot have the Constitution in my course. Why? Because you're an administrative section, which is foreign to you, because you are one of the people. Okay? You're a man. Okay? You're a woman. Whatever you want to do. But you're one of the people. They are operating in a foreign jurisdiction. Okay? And they're dragging you in, and how they do it is violate your rights and make you enforce you, which, by the way, educational purpose, not attorney, not giving legal advice, right? Miranda was all about the coercion to convict the guy. And Miranda was overturned because officers couldn't do it. Right? Well, what do you think they're doing? They're coercing you. And then they'll start breaking your windows. They'll pull out their guns. They'll pull out your tasers. They'll steal your vehicle. All due to that you upheld Miranda.
That's how we impeach him. He's gone. Plus, he doesn't have the Title V 33331 oath of office. He doesn't have the Title V 3332 affidavit in support of his oath of office. It's supposed to be recorded and registered with the Secretary of State or in the county or city that he's working for. And he doesn't have the Title V 3333 loyalty affidavit that's supposed to be along also to the Title V 33332 and 33331 oath of office. All right? And then you have them up on the fact that their state oath of office more than likely is going to be written in all capital letters. As you know, when we look at the Chicago Styles Manual of 2016, all caps letters on page 666 clearly articulates that it is not English. The world-renowned scholars of literature and grammatical experts, because there is a law to grammar, that must be adhered to, just like the law of mathematics and physics. There's a law to it, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not hyperbole or conjectural horseshit. It is actually a law to grammar. And they say, the leading world experts state that all capital letters is not English. It's not even a form of ASL, because ASL requires hyphens in between the letters to conjoin the letters to form a word, even if it was going to be something that could be perceived as legible. Understand that the Chicago Styles manuals were created by the Federal Reserve banks, and they are utilized for banking transfers and banking negotiations and contracts. So they know full on well what they're doing. All right. So this is how we go ahead and disqualify the police officer. They violated they violated the Third Amendment. They violated the First Amendment. Let's look at the Fourth Amendment. How did they violate the Fourth Amendment? There was no APB put out for your automobile. They did.
And he's skipping the Second Amendment. So if you have arms, wink, wink, in your car, well, what do they do? Well, for officer safety, we're going to pull you out. Then they'll pull the gun out, and then they'll unload the gun, and this, that's here and there, right? Now they violated the Second Amendment as well.
Suspect you of hijacking a kid or an adult, or engaging in some egregious or nefarious activity. There's not an APB out on you, and there's not a warrant out for your arrest that's specific. So you have the right, under the Fourth Amendment, to be secure in your person's, house's, papers, and effects. Okay? And that coincides with the preamble of all 50 state constitutions.
And I want to remind people, I talked about this in a couple of videos back, right? If there's not a warrant, like arrest warrant, right? Well, they can't come in just in your house without the search warrant. But that arrest warrant is still a notice. Well, in the state of Texas, there is no law saying they're required to have it on hand. However, that arrest warrant is a notice, okay? It's a form of notice, but it's a notice that you need to be seen. Going to directly Criminal Code 1415. Be taken directly to the magistrate. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't care if the magistrate don't like it, okay? She shouldn't have picked the job, or he shouldn't pick the job. That is their job. I worked in the oil field. I was on call 24 hours a day. You picked a job being a magistrate. You work 24 hours a day. All right? That's on you. All right? Sorry. I had to do it. You have to do it. You volunteered for the job. Unless the township or whatever gets a magistrate 24 hours a day. Okay? Like New York, night court, day court. Right?
And the
Before jail, by the way.
United States of America's organic constitution, that the reason that we do ordain and create these constitutions is for our peace and our posterity, to enjoy life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and the enjoyment of property. All right, so I hope you guys are paying attention to what I'm saying, because I'm putting a lot out there for you. But this is the sound doctrines and principles that we're going to stand on. All right, so that's how they violated the Fourth Amendment, by demanding your person's, papers, and effects on the side of the road, for which they're not even authorized. They're under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. They're supposed to be in a 10 square mile area called the District of Columbia, ladies and gentlemen, and they're out there in Bodunkville on your land, extorting and fleecing, harassing, badgering, and subjecting you vietus arms, which means under the threat of death, to cooperate. And if you don't cooperate, what are they going to do? They're going to threaten you. If you don't do it, we're going to take you to jail. Well, that's arbitrary and capricious, ladies and gentlemen. See, they've been trained by people who are known as attorneys to subvert the Constitution, to overthrow the Constitution, to engage in sedition, insurrection, and treason. They've been trained by the Bar Association to do these things. So now they violated their oath a second time, because they're doing things that are arbitrary and capricious, that violate their oath of office, and they're engaged in mixed war. Mixed war against the people, mixed war against the Constitution. They're in breach of trust. They're in violation of their oath of office. And now they're causing you what? Harm, damage, loss, and a hardship using a simulated legal process on the side of the road with statutes, codes, city ordinances, rules, and regulations that are foreign to you. It's a foreign jurisdiction that you're not subject to. All right?
That's the reason why when you challenge jurisdiction in the court, right? They're supposed to let you know what jurisdiction. And they don't never tell you. They don't want you to know these things, people. Okay? That's the reason why you go inner arm length under special appearance. Challenge jurisdiction in the courts. You need to know which one you are. You in administrative or are you in a constitution aisle, right? Well, I am one of the people. I should be in the Constitution. And just because administrative is there, now you got to prove to me I entered a contract with you. Knowing and intelligence and all four elements there in common law, there's eight. Can't remember all of the eight, but the standard is four. They must be there. That's the reason why on some of my paperwork I said contract denied, void contract, a couple other things on there. It's been a while since I had any problems with any government.
So that's how they violated the Fourth Amendment. Let's talk about the Fifth Amendment, right?
Let's jump on another one. Okay, this one's 16 minutes. This week, People News. Bye, y'all.